March 28th. The most valuable thing the Psalms do for me is to express the same delight in God which made David dance. C.S. Lewis. We spoke yesterday of passionate, undignified worship. Of course, when we think of undignified worship, the first person that comes to mind is David. Not the shepherd boy, but the king. We read the story in 2 Samuel 6. The Ark of the Covenant was being brought to Jerusalem with much rejoicing and many sacrifices. And verse 14 says, David, wearing a linen ephod, danced before the Lord with all his might. King David took off his royal robes and wore the simple dress of a worshipper. It seems to me that along with the grand garments, he also put aside his dignity. He was not a king before his subjects. Rather, he was a subject before the King of Kings. I cannot begin to imagine the delight and excitement that prompted King David to dance in a fashion that his wife would later despise as vulgar. Matt Redman writes in Luke 6:45, Jesus tells us, out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks. And so too, out of what's stored up in our hearts, we sing and serve and live. That's what King David's frenzied dancing was all about. It wasn't a show, nor was it just adrenaline or hype. It was an overflow of the abundance of love for God that was in his heart. David told his wife Michal that it was before the Lord that he danced, and that he would be willing to become even more undignified before him. I think that is the secret of undignified worship. It is before the Lord, before Jesus, who blesses us so abundantly, who loves us so extravagantly. We forget about ourselves, our dignity and reputation. We forget about the others around us, and we worship from the overflow of all that we are feeling for Jesus. It is the kind of worship that liberates. Try it this week. Worship in a way that you feel is undignified. It may range from lifting your hands in a high Anglican service to doing a mad jig in the privacy of your room, and feel the delight of God's heart. Today's prayer. Lord, help me to dance before you as David danced.